Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another one. What I'm looking at is a beer from Treehouse Brewing Company out of Charlton, Massachusetts. This one is called Honey. It's a double IPA clocking in at 7.9% alcohol by volume. And yes, it is brewed with a whole lot of local wildflower honey, a careful selection of fruit-forward American hops, and clean ale yeast. This was canned on December 16th, 2022, so just over 3 weeks old. So pretty fresh, I would say. Pretty excited about this one. I've never had an IPA from Treehouse that has honey in it. Had IPAs from them that have fruit added. This one has honey added to the brew. And I like the artwork too on the can. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool label there. All right, the appearance, as to be expected with most of these Treehouse IPAs, opaque, mostly opaque. I mean, you can see light coming through. When I hold it up to the light, I can see a little bit of light, but not much. Very, very hazy. 1.5 to 2 finger, we'll say 2 fingers. Head, white, kind of a cross between a frothy and a creamy looking head. The appearance itself of the beer, the color is orange. Looks good. The aroma, for the most part, it just smells like a standard juicy IPA, getting some nice citrus, a little bit of tropical fruit. It smells sweet, but there's nothing that screams honey. Maybe that'll come through on the palate, but I'm not getting anything on the aroma that smells specifically like honey. Just a lot of juicy hop aromas is pretty much what I'm getting. Little bit of like a wheat malt aroma. Yeah, I'm really trying to get that honey, but I'm not detecting any honey on the nose, so hopefully that'll translate to the palate a little bit, but let's find out. It smells delightful, though, nonetheless, so without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers. Maybe a touch of honey on the palate, but very light. They said on the label, a whole lot of local wildflower honey, so I was kind of expecting to get some honey. And there's maybe a little bit, but I wanted a lot of honey on the palate based off of what I was reading on the label. And I've had so many of these juicy IPAs from Treehouse. They're all really amazing. This one is as well, but what should set this one apart is that honey flavor. I'm just not really getting much at all. Those nice citrus aromas translate to the palate nicely, getting like some tangerine citrus notes, a little bit of, it's not pineapple, maybe passion fruit. Yeah, a touch of passion fruit. I'm really not getting any pineapple or mango with this one, or guava. Treehouse, a lot of their IPAs, guava is very noticeable on the palate from whatever hops that they're using. With this one, I'm not getting any guava, so they obviously didn't use that hop in this particular beer. It is a little on the sweeter side. Maybe some of that sweetness is coming from the honey, but there's nothing really on the palate that tastes like honey. I want that wildflower honey flavor in there, and I'm really not getting it. This one actually, too, has kind of a moderate bitterness on the back end. So whatever sweetness that you may be getting from the honey dissipates very quickly on the back end. There's a moderate kind of earthy bitterness on the back end. The carbonation is medium. The body is relatively light. It's crisp, clean, it's refreshing. It's an enjoyable beer from Treehouse. I'm really enjoying the flavors. It's pretty standard, though. There's nothing that really differentiates this one from some of the other ones that I've had. And with the addition of honey, I was expecting that, and I'm not getting it. So it's kind of a letdown. This is kind of a letdown. It's my first time trying this beer. I sent off some beer mail recently. I think I put a couple of these in there. I wouldn't have sent this one if I had tasted it first, but what do you do? It's not a bad beer. It's really quite enjoyable. I really wanted some honey tasting notes with this one, some wildflower honey, and I'm not getting it. But it's a good juicy IPA. It's very fresh, so that's not an issue. As with all the Treehouse beers I get, they're all relatively fresh. So very fresh and clean and refreshing, but no honey. I wanted a lot of honey flavor, and I got pretty much none. Just a little kind of generic sweetness, which could be coming from the hops. It could be coming from the malt. I mean, it could be coming from things other than the honey. If you didn't tell me that there was honey in this beer, there's nothing to me that indicates that there is, other than that slight sweetness. But what do you do? They can't all be world class, I guess. This one's still an A, but I'm going to dock it some pretty significant points because there's no honey aromas or flavors specifically. So I'm going to give it a 90 out of 100. It is an A minus. It's excellent, but just so there are much better Treehouse beers out there with a lot more juicy flavors and complex flavors. This one is slight citrus, maybe a little passion fruit, the wheat malt, like I said, a little bit of generic sweetness, and then on the finish, you're getting that moderate hop bite. So pretty standard, pretty straightforward. The alcohol is masked well, which is nice. All of the Treehouse beers do a good job of that. So it's very, very clean and crisp and easy drinking and no alcohol detection whatsoever. So super smooth all the way through. So I think that's it, guys. 90 out of 100 for the Honey Double IPA from Treehouse Brewing Company out of Charlton, Massachusetts. Buy it, try it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And, yeah, that'll do it. We'll see you right here on the next Georgia Beer Review. Until then, cheers, everybody.